One thing I'm worried about, I mean, even if we were to fix everything that's wrong under there right now, with all the skirting missing, the next time it drops down to the temperatures it did a couple weeks ago, it's just going to happen again.
Right. Agreed. And I know that something's got to be taken care of as well.
Yeah, I would get the skirting fixed. That way, you know, whenever the repairs are located and made, they'll actually stay. Because the cold, you know, that obviously affects it, but when the wind hits those pipes, that's what causes them to freeze and burst.
Sure. So you can see where all the ice was. I don't know exactly where it was spraying from. I'm guessing off that way where all the ice is. We are at unit 55 taking a look at that, where that leak was and what that looks like first.
Shut off for the water. Are you filming me?
The trailer.
Oh.
So I have a good idea of what's going on.
I don't even see the main water shut off.
I know the gentleman that I talked to that turned it off said that there were two here. One was way under, and there was one closer to the outside, which is where he was able to turn it off because he didn't have to go under the trailer.
Yeah, I mean typically these need to be sealed up all the way around and cleared out for us to work underneath them. Is there a plan on getting the skirting repaired around this?
Yeah, this one's going to need to be rehabbed, and that will obviously include skirting. Because this one was abandoned a while ago, so that's something we know we need to do.
Yeah, it's real hard to diagnose these by yourself. You know, if I turn the water on and it's leaking in multiple spots,
sure,
it's almost impossible to figure out because you're running back and forth between the shutoff
and the inside.
Well, like I said, if the skirting's not repaired, you know, if we replace everything and it drops down. Even like it is right now, if the wind hits it right, it could freeze. So
okay,
I would definitely get the skirting repaired first, and
all right. So
tackle with 2 or 3 people. That way you can have eyes on corners while you're turning it on and off to figure out what's leaking and where.
Got it. So
but there really can't be. You know, there's a lot of debris under there that makes it hard to work on. That's gotta be removed first.
So the resident was telling me about the frozen crocks. Do you know what that does? What does that mean?
I believe that means frozen crocks. There's a hole for the sewer, you know, that's always there. That way, you know, whatever unit's removed or brought back in, they can just tie back into it. It's an indirect waste line. So there's no mechanical fitting. It just sleeves into the crock pipe.
Okay.
I've seen those freeze before, and with the temperatures we had last week, I mean, it's basically just a frozen ball of sewage.
Okay, and is that something you guys do? Can we take?
Really, the only thing you can do is wait for it to warm up.
There's no way to take care of it otherwise?
You can point a torpedo heater at it, but I mean that could take hours or days.
Oh, just one of those little dedicated heaters that you use for pipes?
That's the only thing that we would have to combat that with, because it's underground. And if it's roots or toilet paper, you can snake right through it. But ice, you can't. You know, you just have to wait for it to do its
pretty
thing.
solid.
Yeah. You can try to heat it up to get it going again, but that's really the only course of action with a frozen crock line.
Okay, well I wonder, I don't know where the main is either. I just know he was able to turn it off.
Yeah, was it like a maintenance guy or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, if he could tag that, that would be great.
Yeah, because I do know, like I said, there were two of them. He said they had one way underneath, which he was glad he didn't have to do because obviously there was water everywhere.
But yeah, if the skirting's repaired and the debris underneath is cleared out, you know, we can come back with a couple guys and turn it on slowly or in sections and see what's doing, where trying to trace leaks under one of those by yourself is almost impossible. Sure.
Okay, so I guess then, you know, obviously everything's pretty frozen. But if there were a crack, and I will call this the township and find out if they've got any information on that, but if we had a cracked water main,
depending on whose property it is, that's who would be responsible for it.
So if it was on site here, it would be us.
Most likely it would be this responsibility. If it's on city property, it's going to be theirs.
So we'd have to find out. And is that something that the city typically will help us figure out where that break or where that thing is? And then if it's ours, and is that something then that you guys do as well?
Yeah, if it's your responsibility, we're not allowed to touch city property,
of course.
Obviously.
Yeah, no.
If it's on your property, we can absolutely repair it.
Okay. All right.
Depending on what they find.
Sure.
You know, they're the ones that know whose municipalities end where. And
yeah, and I know this is a township of Redford, and I know that's where the water.
Because unfortunately, a lot of places, even though your utilities will run under their roads and property, it's still your responsibility.
Sure.
But in an area like this with, you know, multiple dwelling units and stuff, it's a little trickier.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well. So the crocks, even if we look at them, there's really nothing we can do.
Really, if it's a frozen crock, really the only thing you can do is point a torpedo heater at it and wait.
Okay. Okay. And what else do I know? I know.
And in the future, wherever that crock froze, you got to try to shield the wind from around that spot, because that would really only freeze if the wind was in direct contact with it.
Sure.
So it's either bad skirting or, you know, just a gap in it somewhere that needs to be tightened up a little bit.
Okay. Okay, so I guess I need to start with the city then and see if we can find out what they have to say.
I'll waive the trip charge for today, and then whatever you decide, we'll figure it out when we come back.
Okay, that sounds fair enough.
I didn't really go under anything.
Well, yeah, and I really didn't know what the problem was, so I just figured I'd get somebody here to talk to.
My work order was completely blank. It just had your address. So
well, that's because
I didn't know what I was walking into either.
I didn't either, and I'm just trying to figure out what the issue is, if there is a cracked water main somewhere. But if I need to follow up with the city,
but I think, you know, before we just start billing you hourly, if you can get the city to take care of it, you know, I would definitely go that route before you start paying us for something that might be covered under theirs.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds like a good idea, at least a place for me to start. Because, like I said, I had no idea what I was walking into either. I just know we've had a few issues with water pressure, and we had this burst yesterday. And
frozen crocks really only happen at mobile home parks. It's always the skirting. If the skirting isn't blocking the wind from contacting either the potable water lines or the waste connection, something's going to freeze, especially when it gets as bad as it did last week.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, thank you.
I
appreciate you coming.
I couldn't be of more help.
Well, I mean, at least you gave me a little bit. I mean, I can start with call the city, and that gives me something to go to.
They'll tell you if you're screwed or if they can help you.
Right, or if we can kind of figure out what's where.
Determine it's on your end of the responsibility spectrum, then we'll come back and do whatever we have to do for you.
Okay, that sounds fair enough. I'm just trying to, somebody who knows a little bit more about it than I do, trying to figure out what may or may not be wrong, so I have an idea of what I need to be doing. So, all right, I will touch base with the city, and if we find out it's here, I will give you folks a call.
Yeah, just call the water and sewer department. You can usually call them direct, and Plymouth, they're pretty good. They should have somebody out here, I'd say, within the hour.
Okay, and do that and see.
Call us and let us know what they're talking about.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Nice meeting you. I'll wait to hear from you.
All right, thanks.